The Zuckman tax was devised by a French economist, Gabriel Zuckman, but the proposal was rejected on Friday night with a sum of 228 votes voting against it, and 172 of the ministers voting with support of it. And away from France, in our Today in History segment, on 4th November in 1922, Howard Carter discovered the tomb of Pharaoh Tutankhamun in Egypt. In Egypt's Valley of Kings, the remains were found. His remains, we marked the first pharaoh's remains to be found intact over 3,300 years. He was the first pharaoh whose tomb was actually found in good shape and that was untampered with. He was found with over 5,000 treasures and also a golden mask. And with the treasures being found, some people came up and people were criticized this happening. Some people said it was grave robbing, but some people were in support of it because it shows ancient Egypt how it is. Doctor, what is your opinion on such a discovery?
Wow, like we've been saying here, the deeper they go, the darker it becomes. This is more of a revelation that before the coming in of the foreigners, of the whites, ever came in here, Africa was already an independent kind of society with a lot of things, So King Tut, if you have issues with pronouncing the entire name of the pharaoh, we somehow abbreviate it and call him Pharaoh Tut. Pharaoh Tut was a leader or a pharaoh of the 18th dynasty. We have so many dynasties in Kemet, in the so-called Egypt. Apparently, he was one of the leaders that led in the 18th dynasty, and he led between 1332 BCE to 1323. Do you know what BCE is?
Before. I know BCE. I know before Christ. I don't know what
Not
BCE
really.
is.
No, not really. When you talk about BCE in the Kemet kind of language, we don't mean before Christ, because there was nothing like Christ around that area. It is what you call before the Common Era. When you're talking about 1332 to 1323 BCE, BCE is before the Common Era, and then the opposite of that is SCE. SCE is after the Common Era. Now, the people in Kemet, when they say before the Common Era, we are referring to whoever was existence before the existence of the common people. And the common people are, I don't know how to put it, but the common people are, the Europeans and all that, because history in between there, it's just a domination of the black people. It's domination of the black people. So the tomb of Pharaoh Tut was discovered in 1922 by Howard Carter, and somehow something that is very, very, very appreciative, and everyone go to now, they were like, okay, we didn't know that there was a pharaoh that was buried, or because back in the days, our pharaohs were buried, and King Tut became a king at 9 years. He became a pharaoh at 9 years. Some say he was 9, others say he was 10, and he died at 19 years. He died at 19 years, and he was a son of Pharaoh Akhenaten. This was the 18th dynasty, and of course that is after the so many dynasties that were in there in Kemet, or the so-called Egypt. But of course his tomb was discovered, and the most important part were the discoveries. What they discovered in there, the riches, the wealth, the gold, the diamond. Africans back in the days believed in afterlife. They believed in afterlife, so they would bury their kings, most especially their pharaohs, in some kind of way that they are sending them somewhere to ensure that they're on the journey, because for them they believe that life doesn't stop. This is just a transition. Death is just a transition. Death and life are almost the same, but what you do is just a change of the kind of life that you're living. In other words, the body depletes us from real life. In other words, when the body goes away, it means that you're living into the spiritual realm, and a lot of that. But of course, not to go into much about it, the tomb was discovered in 1922 by Howard Carter, an archaeologist, and they are so that marked the beginning of so many other discoveries in Kemet or in the so-called Egypt. So today in history, we celebrate that moment. The tomb of Pharaoh Tut was discovered by a British archaeologist, Howard Carter, in 1922 in Kemet, recently referred to as Egypt.
Yes, that is it for King Tut. King Tut is mostly known because of the discovery of his tomb in 1922. But what made him iconic during his rule, during his father's reign, his father abolished all temples and created praise, and all the Egyptians had to actually praise one god, that was Aten, the sun Aten. But when King Tut got into power at the age of 9, he actually abolished the praise of Aten and put back all the temples, which are actually stabilized in